Pre-marinated meat is quick and full of flavor, which makes putting dinner on the table that much easier. But is it safe to eat? Or will you be sorry you took the shortcut?
We're kind of paying for a lot of stuff that really we're not going to be able to eat.
Plus, a food investigation.
How does it spread? How do they melt? How do they taste?
Is there a better butter?
Buttery spreads and spreadable butter, they couldn't be more different.
There's a difference?
There's a huge difference.
Coming up next. Y'all ready for season 10?
Yeah! I love you, Becca.
When it comes to supermarket stuff, convenience is king. That's why I know so many of you love to buy pre-marinated meats. Now, besides the cooking, right, all the prep work is done for you, which makes putting dinner on the table that much easier. But are grocery store pre-marinated meats safe to eat? Or you end up being sorry you took the shortcut? I've asked several audience members to participate in this. Tamara and her husband Mike are here. They are at odds over pre-marinated meats. And it's the only meat that Mike will buy, but Tamara, you've got some concerns. So why do you love it so much?
I like pre-marinated meat basically because I can come home, I can pop it in the oven, I can put it on the grill. I mean, it's already done for me.
Even a guy could do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tamara, you're unsure about these. What gives?
I kind of feel like it's not going to be as healthy as just regular meat. I know exactly what's going in it if I'm putting my own seasonings on it.
A lot of wisdom to what women say. You probably learned that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you'll get the lesson if you haven't yet. All right, here's why. I got some experts here. We'll help figure this out. This is something I've been looking at a lot. But I think we can actually open it up a little bit. So to brought it into a bigger light, award-winning chef Seamus Mullen is here, and Seamus has built his career around sourcing the very best and sustainable meats. So break it down for us. Welcome to the show.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
So you saw Tamara and Mike, they're struggling. When it says pre-marinated, like this does, what does it mean, and what does it mean if you get it from the butcher that way?
So they're basically, when we're talking about marinades, we're talking about two different things. Either you go to the supermarket and you get something from the butcher that they've made and prepared for you, or you get something that's pre-marinated, that's packaged from the manufacturer. The difference mainly is that you kind of have a better sense of what's going into this. There's nutrition facts on the back of this, to tell you exactly what's in there. So those are the two kinds of marinated meats we're talking about.
See, I thought the butcher in the store made this. This is from a company.
This is going to come directly from the manufacturer.
Okay, so break down marination for us. What does it all mean to you?
So when we're marinating, there's basically two things that we're talking about. We're talking about enhancing the flavor, so that'll come from different flavoring agents, and then tenderizing the meat. Those are the two elements that we're talking about.
Flavorizing and tenderizing.
Yeah.
All right, so we asked all of you at home what kinds of concerns you had about pre-marinated meat. Maria on Facebook asks, my supermarket charges more per marinated meat per pound. Is this extra charge worth it? It's a good question.
It's a very good question.
There is some liquid in this thing.
Oh yeah, there's quite a bit of liquid. So when we're talking about meat, we're actually talking about a significant amount of liquid in the meat already. But now here we have a piece of chicken breast. We look at it, weighs about, what do we have there? 6 ounces, almost 7 ounces.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got that, and then we've got the same breast, which weighed the same amount. Now it's in a marinade. We're going to put it on, and you're going to see this is 9 ounces, so 3 ounces more.
It's almost 10 ounces.
Yeah, so we're almost at 10 ounces, so about 4 ounces more, and that's all water, essentially. So we're kind of paying for a lot of stuff that really we're not going to be able to eat and get much out of.
Mike, did you hear that? Listen,
paying a lot of money.
Wasted money. Exactly. All right, so Linda asked via Twitter, said, I heard supermarkets marinate old meat they can't sell to mask the smell. Is that true? I decided to go straight to the source to figure this one out. Not just a butcher, but someone I consider the butcher. James Peisker is the co-founder of Porter Road, a butcher shop that makes some of the country's highest quality meats available to people nationwide. So it concerns the doctor that you might get sick from meat. That question comes up a lot. Could that really happen?
You can always get sick from things you are eating. That is true. And the myth of, are we masking something with the marinade? Yes, that is true, but nobody's going to sell you rotten meat knowingly. It's bad for business. It's not going to work out very well in the long run. But what they are masking is oxidation, a little bit of colorization, nothing that's going to harm the flavor or you as a consumer.
So you would feed it to your family, I gather.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of the times marination, what they're trying to do, like I said, is just cover up a little bit of oxidation, because like I said before, if your consumer gets sick, they're not coming back to you.
Tamara, you hear that? You're worried about nothing. Listen to the man. All right, thank you, James. Arlene asked via Facebook, are pre-marinated meats Basically, a sodium bath. How unhealthy are they? So what is the deal with the amount of sodium in these marinades?
This is a really, really great question. In fact, Cooking Light did an experiment where they took a turkey, they took 3 turkeys, and they brined them for 12 hours, for 18 hours, and for 24 hours with a half a cup of kosher salt, which is a lot of sodium. You know, that's a significant amount of sodium. But what they found was that after 12 hours, the sodium content had actually only gone up by 1%. And then after that, it didn't go up anymore. So what ended up happening in the subsequent hours, in the 18 and then in the 24 hours, is you got a more tender turkey, but no more sodium. So it's not actually as bad as you might think.
I'm surprised it's only 1%.
Only 1%.
I looked at the salt content. I'll tell you, the bigger issue, when now I know this, is to make sure you're looking for sugar in the marinade.
Exactly. That's
especially if you're doing keto, it can sabotage everything. And it would actually come along with the sugar this time.
Absolutely.
All right, next thing we want to know about, and I'm very curious about, is how much does marinating change the flavor? And how long do you really have to marinate in order to get the effects? To put this to the test, we're going to do a little marinating science here. I brought in someone who really tastes the nuances of flavor, a professional taste tester. That's what she does for a living. Professional taste testing, Ivy Koelliker from Sensory Spectrum. Before we get to all this, I mean, do you study to become a taste tester? How does that work? Are you gifted with incredible taste buds?
Sure. So I have a background in food science, and we go through a lot of training and have a lot of education, practice, and experience to be able to describe the characteristics of food. So it's not that I can taste better than you can. It's that I have more words to describe the flavor and the texture.
So we could taste what you taste.
Yes, absolutely.
Give me some words I should be using next time I go to a meal to impress my wife.
Sure. So if you want to talk about the texture, which a lot of people have trouble talking about, you can start thinking about how the food is kind of chewing down in your mouth. Is it soft? Is it tough? Is it fibrous? Is it mealy? Is it very moist and juicy, or is it very dry? Hopefully not dry if you're eating something. Moist and juicy is good.
And so full compression, fiber length, that comes up sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll see that here with the chicken.
I'm going to seem so smart next time I go out. Right? We set up a taste experiment, one that's very practical for all of us to know about. We marinated chicken, right, for 3 different time intervals. There's 30 minutes, there's 2 hours, and then there's the overnight, if you're really prepared in life. So how much did the time it was marinated actually change the flavor? I'm going to leave it to you as the expert. Give us your professional assessment. You have tasted them all.
So you were talking about flavor and texture changes from the marinade. So in my tasting, what I saw is the 30-minute meat had the most chicken flavor and the least amount of marinade flavor, and it also had a tougher and more fibrous texture. So some of those longer, more stringy fibers, and took more chews to kind of break down in the mouth before you wanted to swallow it. At 2 hours, I didn't see a huge change in texture, but I did see an increase in the marinade flavor and a decrease in the chicken flavor coming through. So if you still like some of that kind of more meaty texture and you want a little more flavor, I would recommend the 2 hour. At the overnight, I definitely saw a big change in the texture. It's much softer, much easier to bite through. The muscle fibers break down into kind of shorter pieces, so it's a little bit easier to chew. You can chew it up more quickly, and it by far had the most flavor of the 3.
So it really is customized to what you want. They're all fine.
Absolutely. Yeah,
but I can offer one thought as a physician on this.
Sure.
I do think marinating makes sense because it reduces some of these cancer-causing compounds that you make when you heat up meat. So marinate it to keep the outside a little cooler to avoid some of those products.
Okay, great.
Right? We'll all benefit from this.
Thank you.
Seamus, come over here. Seamus says that pre-marinated typically means over-marinated. So how do you over-marinate meat?
So first, let's talk about flavor, first of all. The molecules of a lot of the flavoring agents are too big to actually go into the meat. They're going to bounce off the meat after a long period of time. But when it comes to the salt and acid, once they get in there, they can change the texture. The salt will toughen it up, give it sort of like a ham texture, and the acid will start to break down the fibers and make it mushy. So if you're letting it go for too long, you're not getting any more flavor benefits, and you're changing the texture to a negative texture.
So how much is too long, in your opinion?
In my opinion, if you go over 24 hours, it's too long.
All right, so you all got your rules of thumb now. Keep them in mind from an expert. When you come back, we're going to break down the science behind the best marinade that you can do at home. It has only 4 ingredients, and it takes less than an hour. Stay with us. A trail of unsolved murders in California. Now, 50 years later, can DNA evidence track down the Zodiac killer?
We can take these crime cases that have haunted us for decades and actually solve them.
Plus, a medical error ended this innocent 2-year-old's life. What you're supposed to get, what was actually given, it was tragic. Now the family comes face to face with the man that made this deadly mistake. All New Oz. That's coming up tomorrow. If you want the most tender, succulent, juicy marinated meat without putting in the time, then listen up, because we're going to reveal the science behind what makes the very best marinade that can be done in under an hour. Meat expert and renowned chef Seamus Mullen is back with us. So what cuts of meat benefit the most from marination?
So here's the deal. Meat is mostly water. So if you think of meat like a sponge, we've got a sponge here. If it's soaked with water, you can't really absorb more water. You can't clean up a mess. We want to look for small, thin strips of meat. It's more like a surface treatment.
So just so I'm clear, so this is what a big piece of meat
exactly.
looks like.
It's not going to absorb much more of the marinade, but a thin piece, a thin piece of meat is going to give it a nice surface treatment. So what we did to show this, it's pretty interesting. We took a nice, really plump piece of chicken, and we've marinated it overnight in a marinade that's got some blue food dye in it, so we can see just how far it penetrates into it.
Talk about a world-class chef. Doesn't this look tasty?
It looks amazing, right?
This, guys.
Smurf food.
Smurf food.
Yeah.
So you left it overnight. So this is the best that our marinade would do normally.
Exactly. So this is a 24-hour marinade, and what we're going to see here is that it really did not penetrate at all. It's just on the surface of the meat.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
See that? That's surprising, actually. I thought a little bit would get into the inside.
Yeah, it really is just on the outside. And if you think of it, because there is so much liquid inside, you just can't put more liquid into it.
All right, so you say you've got a little hack for us.
Yep.
One that may actually allow us to penetrate the meat a little better. Only 4 ingredients. If we are late, like I usually am, in 1 hour, a guy could actually help out at home and make this happen.
Super easy. And as you know, Dr. Oz, I'm a big fan of healthy food. This is all stuff that's naturally anti-inflammatory, and it's very good for gut health. So what I've done is I've got some papaya juice. Now, papaya is a pre-Columbian fruit that has been used for thousands of years to tenderize meats. There's enzymes in papaya that help break down the proteins. It's also really, really good for digestive enzymes for helping you break down your food.
Has anyone ever used papaya in a marinade here? Like,
oh, we've got some papaya over there. In Mexico.
In Mexico, exactly. Mexico. And there's a little spattering over here. Yeah. But that's one handful out of 200 people here. I'd never thought of it even, but it makes so much sense because it gets into the meat.
It gets right into the meat. And if you want to be really fancy, you can take the seeds, dry them, and grind them up, and they get like a peppery spice to them, which is
what a
really
show-off
nice.
you are.
I know.
But I love show-offs.
So what we've got the papaya juice, we've got some ground coriander seed, a little bit of cayenne pepper for heat, and then ginger, which is a natural anti-inflammatory, and it's great for gut health. So we've got all that stuff together. We'll just I put all the dry ingredients here, like that, very simply, and you can get to work on mixing those in. I'm gonna add in the papaya juice. You can even just crush up some fresh papaya too, and then if you wanna make a sauce to go along with it, some fresh papaya salsa is great. And that's all it takes. We're gonna add that in, and then add your chicken directly into that. So grab that chicken, that'll go in. And then this can literally just go into the refrigerator for half an hour before you cook it. Because what happens is the enzymes in the papaya and all of the ingredients you've put in here, they don't become activated until you heat the chicken up. So between 140 and 175 degrees is when the enzymes are gonna actually start to break down the chicken.
So why bother marinating it for even half an hour? Nothing's happening.
Because some of the flavor is gonna impregnate. You're gonna get some of the flavor from all of these great ingredients. So you will get a little bit of flavor from it. I mean, a significant amount of flavor.
Before I say anything, Tamara and Mike are here. They have the finished product. They've been bickering all show long about this darn pre-marinade stuff. So, Tamara, you've effectively won the argument. Did you feel good about that?
I do. I feel great about that.
It's a nice feeling, isn't it? To
Sure.
give in?
I'm used to it.
Used to it, right?
Absolutely.
So what do you think about this?
Mine was very good. It's a light flavor. It's not overpowering, but it's easy. It's easy on the palate.
So here's the deal. In all seriousness, you listen to the show. There's nothing wrong with buying pre-marinated meat. You can do that. But it seems to me that we've given some pretty good reasons why you just make it yourself. And if it tastes like this, and you've tasted it, would you be willing to do this instead of buying the pre-marinated?
I would, because I love chicken and I love to eat. You know, you definitely could taste the flavors. It was good. I would eat it again.
Thanks all for being here. Seamus' latest book is called Real Food Heals. Look at him walking around looking so healthy. We'll be right back. Up next, an investigation into the new butters on the supermarket shelves today, including the ones with healthier oils added to make them more spreadable. Are they really better butter? Find out when we come back. Butter, we all love the way it spreads on a warm piece of bread, or how it melts on an English muffin. You can just see it right there, right? Most of all, we love how it tastes. That creamy, fatty mouthfeel it's unmatched. But there are so many butter alternatives in the market today, including new ones with healthier oils added to make them more spreadable. Today we're investigating, is there a better butter? Once considered public enemy number one, super delicious butter is working its way back into the American household. From traditional uses like on your toast and in your cakes, to more modern uses like in your coffee and on top of your oatmeal. Americans now eat almost 23 sticks a year. But the new market for healthier butter alternatives is just as rich, with buttery spreads, spreadable butters, and even avocado butter gaining in popularity. Are they butter's better half? An important question when there's no margarine for error. James Beard award-winning chef and restaurateur Michael Schlow, who has shared his expertise on The Tonight Show, is here with a brand new food investigation to help cut through the clutter like a hot knife through butter. Butter is back, everybody. It's big and everyone loves it. And as a chef, Chef Michael loves it. Where do you stand, by the way, on this butter renaissance? And what about these butter alternatives?
Well, butter being back, I mean, as a chef, I never thought it went away, to be honest with you. I always thought it was around and I always loved it. But you know, as a dad, as a husband, we're always thinking about butter alternatives, like how can we eat a little bit healthier? So this was exciting. I got to really experiment and buy a bunch of different kinds and explore, and I've got a lot of different results for you.
So these better butters,
yes.
What are they up against? What are the qualities they've got to mimic in order to win over a butter lover like you, and me too, by the way?
Well, I think you said it earlier, you know, how does it spread? You know, so that's the first thing. Is it going to rip the bread? Cold butter rips the bread.
But the worst.
These spreadables, are they nice and smooth and creamy? You know, how do they melt? I think that's important also, but most important of all is how do they taste? If they don't taste good, we're not going to buy them.
All right, so we assembled a group of really purists. These are butter purists who are looking to be buttered up by us.
Butter purists. I like the term. That was my band in culinary school. We were called the butter purists. Yeah, that's what we called ourselves.
They're looking at better butters here. They're going to be putting each of the butters through a 3-part test. Adriana, your job is to check on the spreadability.
Yes.
Does it rip the bread or not?
Okay.
Ashley is manning the melting torch. Let's see the torch. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Look at her go. She's hot. And Maggie is cleansing her palate as we speak. She's ready to taste. A little water, but not for too long. Okay, we're going to check in with you in a bit. Let's go to the first group we're going to be looking about are these spreadable butters, right? And spreadable butters are made with vegetable oil, right? They offer about half the saturated fat of butter.
Mm-hmm. So there's real butter in spreadable butter, yes. And so they do add some oil, and there's some, you know, aside from the saturated fats, I mean, one of the benefits, I guess, is that it does spread easy right out of the refrigerator. You don't have to take it out and leave it on your counter to spread easily. That's, to me, one of the biggest, advantages in using something like this.
Okay. Next, buttery spreads. These are a little different. These are also made with vegetable oil. So, I'm sorry.
Well, these are different, for sure. Buttery spreads and spreadable butter, when I started out on this adventure, I didn't know what the difference would be, and they couldn't be more different.
There's a difference?
There's a huge difference, and we're going to find out. And so the buttery spreads don't have any butter at all in them. They're all made from oil, which is, fine. Some of them even had yogurt, some of the ones that I found, but I could tell you that there's definitely no butter in the buttery spreads.
All right, besides the oils, which obviously have to make up the difference, so what else did you find?
Well, I found that, butter obviously has 2 ingredients. It has cream and it has salt. And buttery spreads have just a couple extra ingredients added to them as well to give you that mouthfeel. And the science is lost on me a little bit here, but there's a lot going into this stuff.
And how many of you knew that a spreadable butter and buttery spread were different? No one, right? Like one person up there. Literally one person, the entire audience, 200 people.
Yeah.
So if these aren't butter, how are they different? I mean, they sound like they're margarine then.
Well, similar, but here's the deal, is that butter and margarine both have a regulation by the USDA, and they have to have 80% fat. But with a buttery spread, there's no regulation on it at all, so it doesn't have to have 80%.
Is less fat a good thing?
Well, it can be, certainly. I mean, it depends on diets and things like that. But for flavor, I mean, butter certainly has the highest fat and it has the strongest flavor. I made cookies with 3 different fats to see the difference and see how they would react differently. And definitely the buttery spread had a stranger reaction, is the way I could put it, compared to the butter cookie that I knew. I made chocolate chip cookies and I just thought, well, let's see it. Same oven, same recipe, same quantities.
So this is one more time. So this is a buttery spread.
Correct.
Right? And that had... It was half and half, and the cookies there. We're going to compare that. You have margarine.
And margarine didn't have a big change to the cookie the way this one, and you could see the color difference even the way that spreads out. And these were baked in the same oven, same time, same exact recipe.
And you made one with butter.
Yeah, and I think those look kind of similar.
They
do. Butter and the margarine one.
They look the same to you guys? They look the same to me. I'm going to taste them right now. going to taste one of these babies. I'm going to
Yes.
compare it to one of these buttery spreads.
Okay.
But these are actually look very different looking.
They
Look
do,
at these things.
and the same amount of scoop. Like when I was trying to measure them out, it was the same scoop, same everything, but they definitely bake differently.
So I'm going to taste this in a second, but margarine has the same ratio of fat to water as butter, right?
Correct.
But anyone ever wonder what happened to margarine? We don't talk about it much anymore. Take a look. Margarine received bad press for being made with artificial ingredients and artery-clogging trans fats. But it has been trying to make a comeback in the last 10 years. In fact, last June, the FDA made it illegal to add trans fats to products. And they are allowing companies until January 2020 to completely eliminate them from their labels. In the meantime, here's how you can tell if your margarine or butter alternative is trans fat free. Check the label. Even if it says 0 trans fats, it can legally still contain up to 0.5 grams of trans fats. So, look for the words partially hydrogenated on the ingredient list. Also know that palm, soybean, and vegetable oil all mean that there may be trans fats in the product. So I tasted these, the butter and the margarine.
Right.
And the spreadable butter. Mm-hmm. I think this is crispy, crunchy. It's got better mouthfeel than the other one.
Yeah,
my personal belief.
I agree with you. It got a little cakey almost is the word, and a little drier. But when it comes to baking, definitely I think butter's going to be better.
From a James Beard chef, we take his advice. Okay, finally, the newest kids on the block, trendy butters made with, are you ready? Boom, avocados and coconuts. Mm-hmm. These are blended with other oils oftentimes. They may just have a little bit of this in there.
Right, and they definitely had, when I tasted these, there was some flavor that you were distinct, especially the coconut one.
All right, time for our test. Butter lovers. Did you find a better butter, our
Yes.
butter lovers?
I have a favorite.
You do?
I do.
But you're only looking for spreadability. You compared spreadable butter, butter spread, avocado, and the coconut.
Yes.
Okay, take it away. The butter spread.
Really?
A butter
Yeah.
spread winner. So maybe it was worth putting all those things in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm surprised because the spreadable butter, it seemed to go okay. But look, I got all of this. I got all of with the butter spread.
Yeah, you colored in your lines perfectly.
I did. They were
Very nicely
yeah,
done.
exactly.
All right, let me go to Ashley. Melting. You compared all their meltabilities, and the winner is?
Butter spread.
Oh my goodness, butter spread again.
Yeah.
I never thought that was possible.
I mean, honestly, coconut oil spread melted better, but I like a little bit flavor in it. Like I want it to be I want it to still be buttery, but melt and go down easy, I guess.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I like the butter spread better.
It was like the blowtorch part of the experiment.
That was the best part.
And finally, Maggie, I'm going to leave it to you, Maggie. On taste, which is what the chef cares about, who would win?
I'm going to go with the butter spread as well.
Oh my
Science
goodness.
wins here.
Science
Yes.
wins. Oh my goodness. Science won. You're
Yes.
right. I never would have expected it. I thought everyone would go with the spreadable butter,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that's what the data shows. Up next, the new healthier butter that some are saying is the Greek yogurt of butters. Find out what it is when we come back. Today, we are having a butter investigation and spreading the goods on new trends that could change the way you think about your favorite dairy spread forever. You will not want to miss this. Welcome back to our butter investigation. I'm here with Chef Michael Schlow, who's here to spread the word about the new butter trend getting all the attention in the dairy aisle these days. Some even say it is the Greek yogurt of butters. What is it? Put the picture up there. No, Scott. No, that's not the right picture. That's the band Culture Club. I'm talking about cultured butter. It's even better than the Culture Club. Chef Michael, there are many butter alternatives in the market today, and a lot of us have tried them all, but this has taken over everything. What makes cultured butter so special?
So cultured butter is so interesting. It's like regular butter, except for they've added a little secret ingredient. There's some active bacteria here, and it just develops a whole nother flavor. So you can use
live bacteria.
Live bacteria goes into this.
It is like Greek yogurt.
It is, yeah. So I mean, whether it's using kefir or something like you can introduce sour cream or buttermilk. I made some with yogurt. I mean, you can do lots of different things, but time is the key here. So it's like making wine a little bit.
So the big difference between regular butter and cultured butter is bacteria and a little time.
And also that flavor. You got that tanginess, that slightly nuttiness to it. I think it's more interesting, quite frankly.
Come over here. I know you brought me a little present here.
Sure, I did.
So I want to know more about the difference here.
So
and you brought me, you actually made this yourself.
I did, yes. So heavy cream, you introduce some sort of bacteria. This is kefir, but you could do, as I said, sour cream or something else. And after 2 days, this is what it looked like. You leave it out, by the way.
You leave it out?
You leave it out. You don't put it in the refrigerator. It needs to be out at room temperature or in a warm place in your kitchen.
You gotta be kidding.
I'm not kidding you.
That violates every premise.
I know, right? But this is how it works, and it really it gets a little bit of that tanginess. And then what you do is you put it into a blender.
It actually tastes good. It should taste bad.
Just like that would be fine, right?
Yeah.
So you put it into a blender, or a food processor like this, and you just want to cover this so that nobody gets.
I'll stand behind you.
Yes.
There we are. Go ahead, chef. We're good to go here.
And after just about 2 or 3 minutes, it will break. It will literally break.
What do you mean break? You separate it?
So it separates, yeah.
Oh.
So it's getting close. And that's when you get it all over the place.
Let me just see this. I want to see what's going on in there.
So we turn it off, and you can see it's starting to separate. You see that it's starting to get a little bit of water.
Making a mess is half the fun of the show.
Exactly, right? So what ends up happening is you have buttermilk, and then the cultured butter separates itself. And you have to basically bring it down with a little bit of cheesecloth, and then you end up with something beautiful like this. It ends up being beautiful, gorgeous butter.
So why is this a hero for chefs these days?
So that's an interesting question. This has a lot of different properties to it and a lot of different applications. One of my favorite ones to do, if you want to look like a pro at home, use a little bit of cultured butter to, say, sear a steak. Get that crispy, crunchy, gorgeous, brown sear like you see in restaurants, or a piece of fish. And a little goes a long way. You baste with it. You're gonna impart new flavor to it, and you're gonna look like a pro.
You're making me hungry. So we know the bacteria is good for the gut. I want to know if there's even enough preserving to make a difference of this bacteria, because it is sort of cool that you're adding it. So, listen, here's the deal. I don't want you trading your morning yogurt, the Greek yogurt especially, for buttered sandwich. It's not quite the same. The amount of bacteria in this cultured butter is just not enough to make up for that vice.
This is for flavor, right?
Yeah, but if you want flavor, you want to make that meat the way you desire, the fish, etc., I think it's a brilliant idea, and I love that you celebrate food. Now, that stated, I got one more challenge. We got 2 audience members who have been trying popular hacks, butter hacks, from the internet. So, Chef, I want you to judge whether these are better butter hacks or are they just bogus butter hacks.
Sounds good.
All right, the first butter hack is to heat it under a glass. Mariana, show us how it's done.
All right, you just pour some hot water into a glass.
It's hot? Oh, yeah, it's really hot. And this is theoretically frozen butter.
Oh, it's cold, and it's going to destroy all sorts of baked goods you worked all day on. So you don't want that. And then you just keep it under there and kind of.
And then just the warmth of the glass is.
We'll steam it and soften it.
How long do you have to keep it for?
About 30 seconds is all you need, really.
Okay. So you did it here, right?
Yep.
So let's cut the middle and see if it got into the middle of it or not.
Right there. Look at that.
That looks pretty good.
Oh my goodness, that actually worked. It's a better butter.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right, next butter hack is to roll it out on plastic wrap. Because again, if it's frozen, you're in a hurry, you got to get it out. Princess, show us how it's done.
Well, I put the butter in between the 2 plastics, and I got to roll in real hard.
You saw this on the internet?
I have to use a little bit of help. It's
Here,
not
I would
working.
do this. This is how I would do it. This is how I started on the internet, like this.
I saw this.
What do you think of that idea, Chef?
I'm going to go with this is pretty bogus. Why don't you just leave it out in the morning? If you know you're going to bake, why don't you just take it out of the refrigerator the night before?
Thanks for playing with us, Princess. Nice to done, Mariana. Chef, it's been a real pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Daymond John is revealing why he had to have unexpected emergency surgery.
It's actually a procedure that 1 million of you will be told by a doctor you also need this year.
Stick around to hear the story. About 2 months ago, I received an urgent call from one of my producers telling me that my friend and Shark Tank star Daymond John had to cancel his appearance on this show because of a medical emergency. Now, he was supposed to be on with Barbara Corcoran for a segment that was going to be pretty cool, but he was rushed into surgery just hours beforehand. And then I received this video message from Daymond.
Hey, Doc. Sorry I can't make the segment tomorrow. Something came up. But you got Barbara. I know she's not that bright. Thank you for understanding. See you in a minute.
All right, it's been a little more than a minute, but Daymond is ready to share with you the shocking health scare that caused him to have emergency surgery, a procedure that 1 million of you will also need this year. Come on out, Daymond John. Oh my goodness, that was fun. Come on over here. That was. I laughed and laughed when I got that
I didn't
video.
know you were going to show that video.
So, have they already medicated you when you recorded that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I was already juiced up. So,
So I haven't showed it to Barbara yet. Should I?
Sure, absolutely. She'll agree.
She'll agree. How you feeling now?
I am feeling great. I really am.
Yeah, I was very happy for you. I was very nervous because emergency hernia operations sometimes happen because you got having complications. But I love if you could take us back to that day. What happened? What went down? When did you know something was wrong?
So it was Sunday night. I was getting a tattoo because I'm going through that midlife crisis. I just turned 50. So
is it Oz? OZ? Full name? My full the tattoo. Is it my full name or just part of it?
Oh, it's Oz Daddy. So I was getting it, and the tattoo was about 6 hours, and I was clenching, because of the pain of the tattoo, almost like planking for that period of time. The next morning, I go to Miami to film something for Shark Tank, and all of a sudden, I feel a pop, like a little, literally a pop, 2 inches over my belly button, and I feel it, and I can push it in and out.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know. The next day I go home and I tell my wife, I say, I have a little pop here. She says, go to the doctor right away. I said, nah, what are you kidding me? I'm a man. I'm a big boy. I'm not going to the doctor. Then she says, you better go to the doctor. So I go to the doctor. He says...
I should point out, by the way, nagging saves lives.
Yeah.
Case in point.
It does. It does.
Case in point.
It really does. I go to my doctor. He sends me over to NYU. I've had him for 20 years, and I go in, and a very experienced doctor comes in, looks at it, touches it for a second. You need to go to surgery right now. He says, have you had any problems eating? I said, no, not at all. He says, okay, well, that's a good thing. He said, did you take any aspirin lately or any blood thinners? I said, no. He said, that's a good thing. We need to get you into surgery.
Oh my goodness.
So, at that point, I'm like, why am I going to surgery? He said, well, what we're looking at is probably a hernia, and this little hole, probably what you feel is like probably fat that came through, and sooner or later, your intestines are going to come through, and we may have to cut your intestines.
Ooh.
I called Robert. I said, Robert, fat came through. He was like, and my intestines didn't come through. And he said, Robert from Shark Tank, he goes, that's the reason for all your fat. I said, yeah, amazing.
How compassionate.
Right?
How compassionate. Why would you call Robert of all people to get his advice?
I don't know, because he's just the happiest person on the planet.
He is happy.
And listen, then I'm in surgery about 4 hours later.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Can I show everybody what was going down? I made a little animation. Come on up here.
Please do.
You might enjoy this because you can help me narrate it. Come over this side. All right, so let's pretend that this is you stand there. I'm going to demonstrate why the abdominal wall gets weak and why when it gets weak it can pop through. Okay, so let's lie on your back, play the animation, right? And when you lie on your back, right there's the belly button, let's say. Just above it, you have areas of the muscle that are pretty strong. And when you have a little hole there, a little bit of you from the inside can pop on the outside. Now, you can see in this person, there's got some intestines that are popping out, but this just freezes for a second. And with you, that bump was probably a little bit of fat. Even though Robert was joking, the first thing that comes out is a little bit of fat, but that's the beginning of the hernia. As the hernia gets larger and larger, you get loops of bowel that'll come through. And here's the thing, if left untreated, you'll have, green stuff going through their intestines, but then eventually it'll turn black because it's being suffocated because the hernia is strangling the intestines down below. And when that tissue is strangled, if it were to fall back in on its own, it would release all that toxic stuff called major problems, sepsis, even death happens. I mean, I've taken care of a lot of people with hernias. Yeah. Because before you become a heart surgeon, you've got to do hernia surgery. I've seen people really get sick from these things. So I am proud of you for intervening on yourself and listening to your wife nag you.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, because at first you feel like, it'll go away. It's a little bump, you get things around you, but then, obviously the way they rolled me right in, they obviously felt it was something serious.
So do you think that you're more sensitive to taking care of yourself because of your thyroid scare?
Absolutely, because all I talk about now is early detection because, I would have just been buying time, and after this, it would have been much, much worse. It's only now been about 5 weeks since I'm better than ever now. I feel like I can go out and do everything, but I would have normally ignored that. 5 years ago, I would have said, nah, I'll wait till I'm curled over. and I got to go to the doctor.
Barely holding on.
Absolutely.
All right. When we come back, we got the 3 warning signs that you need to know to catch a hernia early, just like Daymond did. Got to get it before it gets out of hand. Stay with us.
We are a nation riddled with allergies. But what if you outgrew them and didn't know it?
People are walking around thinking they have this allergy and they no longer have it.
We're doing a big allergy experiment.
That's coming up on Wednesday.
I got a call from my man who was like, hey, yo, son, let me find out somebody sold you a deadly bagel. Give me the number to the dude who sold you the deadly bagel. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no, nobody sold me a deadly bagel. Oh, now you want to protect your man who's selling you deadly bagels. Well, check this out. I'm going to find your man regardless. Regardless. Love you, bruh. Later. Click. I was like, huh? Love you too. Bye.
Look at you. Daymond John got that call from a very confused friend who saw that he was rushed to the hospital right after he posted a picture of a bagel.
Yeah.
Right?
I was saying, you know, life is funny. One minute you're eating a bagel, the next minute you're in the hospital. My friend thought somebody sold me a deadly bagel. That's how social media is.
You gotta love social media here. All right, so here's the deal. It wasn't a deadly bagel that caused Daymond's hernia, but there are warning signs to look for so you can catch a hernia. Remember, a million of you are gonna have a procedure for this year. It's common. Number 1, there could be a bulge that looks like this. Look at the picture carefully. See, it looks pretty innocuous, smooth bulge. If you catch it at this stage, you can get it before it gets out of hand like Daymond did. Look familiar?
Much bigger, but yes, that's it.
Yeah, so it's different. It's not what you normally look like there.
Yeah.
And it's not symmetrical. It's not like you put a little weight on.
Right.
Number 2, you could have severe digestion issues like constipation, nausea, or vomiting.
I didn't have any of that.
None of that.
No.
Yeah. Remember I showed that intestine getting pulled through?
Yeah.
So if that gets strangulated, suffocated, like gets squeezed at the base, then you'll have all those symptoms at once because your body's
food can't travel through.
Yeah, food can't go through there. And your body's immediate response is stop eating and get out whatever's in there because we're in a panic mode.
Right.
So you didn't have any of that. That's a good sign.
Thank God.
And number 3, a sudden onset pain like the world's worst gas pain that makes you clutch your belly like this.
I had a little bit of that.
Yeah. How would you describe the pain specifically?
A pinch, and it was a pink, like right here, just a strong pinch, and I kept going, what is that? What is that?
All because of that darn tattoo.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you finish the tattoo yet?
No.
It's not,
I'm going to leave it undone. I don't know if I want to get any more tattoos.
He wants to do that. Yeah. All right, so here's the deal. Because the hernia can poke through when someone's abdominal wall is weakened, we want everyone who's worried about hernias to strengthen their abdominal walls. So come on over here. We're going to do a little game here. Kate Covey is here from Symphony Yoga. She's agreed to come and show everyone watching some yoga moves. So Kate, go ahead if you don't mind. Show us 2 simple yoga moves that everyone can do now to strengthen their belly, their core.
Okay.
It's good to prevent hernias, but it's also good to keep strong. All right? Perfect. And then after we're done, then we're going to exchange your health advice for some business advice from the pro here. We're going to Shark Tank it.
That sounds great.
Deal? All
right. Big fan of the show. Thank you.
I'm
ready.
All right, great. So some simple leg raises that you can do is lie on your back all the way down, and then you're going to inhale as you raise your left leg to start.
You keep your belly firm the whole time?
Yep, and you engage the core so you feel it engaged, and then keep going slowly up
You got a 12
and down.
pack in there, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm very impressed.
I wish, that'd be great. And then you start on the right leg. So you do alternating.
So do this while you're watching commercials, whatever you want to do, but it's not long. You do about 10 on each side.
Exactly, as long as you don't feel pain. So don't like raise your leg too much so you don't feel like.
So simple leg raise. The next thing is a shoulder stand, but
Exactly.
this is a half shoulder stand.
Exactly. So you just bring your legs all the way up and you use your hands to support your low back. And then if it's too much on your leg to support, you just bring your legs lower down slowly.
That makes it easier or harder?
Makes it easier.
All right, but the hard version is way up.
And
Yeah,
that's
this
the
is-
abdomen.
Yeah.
Right.
But you got to hold your legs up because your legs,
Right.
they would be tense.
Your core, right?
Exactly.
All right, hop up now. Now you've dutifully taught Daymond a few
Thank
things.
you.
So, business
Yes.
advice, what's the pitch?
So-
You just opened a spot in Jersey. It's called Yoga Symphony, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
You build your audience, so take it away.
Yes. So my question would be, how do I gain more corporate clients? Because there's so many companies out there that are attracting corporations for yoga. So I just wanted to see how I could differentiate myself.
Well, if you have people locally, how are you giving them an offer they can't refuse? Meaning, giving free classes for X amount of time. If they like it, they'll convert. right? And then no matter what brand or product you have, social media is the easiest and the cheapest.
Yep.
But you got to look at social media as a half-an-hour television show. If your favorite half-an-hour television show, 28 minutes is commercials, then you're going to switch your channel. So what you need to do is give them as much information you can for the 28 minutes on your social media. So the 2 minutes that you're offering something for them to buy, then you do so. Too many people on social media just go sell, buy, help me out. Instead, just give them information so the smartest person at the water cooler on Monday morning, and then when they're ready to buy, they come to you. So those are
Thank you so much.
easiest
I really
ways.
I love your advice. And more importantly, I love you. And I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank you, Doc. Thank
God
you.
bless you, my friend. All right, last more of you on Shark Tank. We'll be right back. A trail of unsolved murders in California, taunting police with letters. Now, 50 years later, can DNA evidence track down the Zodiac killer?
People think this is the guy.
All New Oz. That's coming up tomorrow. For years, I've been telling you that it is natural and that everyone does it. And sometimes it's by accident, sometimes it's on purpose. You got loud ones and silent ones, smelly or not. Talking about flatulence, of course. And one man is saying he was fired for doing it at work. Get this, Paul Flart was working as a security guard when he decided to document all of his work farts on video and post them online. He said it was a breeze. And he got away with it for 6 months until the bosses found out. So take a look.
Why are you recording? Take it off.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
You're not going to record me wearing that uniform.
I'm not recording you, sir. I'm recording me, sir.
Okay, you can turn it off.
Okay. Well, so you're firing me anyway, right?
Yes, I am.
We are joined today by the man who goes by the name Paul Flart. What made you post videos of your work wind, if I can call it that, for 6 months?
First off, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it so much. But, I just one day I farted in the lobby of the hospital, and the acoustics were just so great that I had to share it with my friends. We brainstormed about it for a bit. They loved it. Felt like the world needed to see it. So we came up with Paul Flart, made the Instagram account, and then the rest, as you know, is history.
So we saw that video of you getting fired. You're still out of work, right? That's what I believe,
correct.
yeah. And you're pursuing your dream of being an at-home online gamer where, I gotta say, you're gonna get far fewer complaints there. So it might be a good position. But we spoke to the Online Performers Group, one of the largest talent management firms for pro gamers, and they actually want to do an interview with you to give you some, as they said it, career advice and even discuss possible representation. How's that sound?
That sounds amazing. Awesome. I was not expecting that. Awesome.
Well, I hope you enjoy your time with them. Thank you for joining us, Paul. You're an everyday hero in a whole different way. Together, everybody, change is happening. Our journey is just beginning.